Today, I'm going to show you how I make my tie-dyed masks from start to finish. There are several YouTube videos out there on how to make quick masks, from folding bandanas to cutting rectangles and sewing in elastic. Mine are a little bit different because I've been listening to everyone who wears masks. Two things. One, they're not deep enough, so they don't feel like they cover their face from the bridge of their nose to under their chin. So the standard size of this one does. And then also, I put ties on them as opposed to elastic, so that way you can tie it behind your neck and on the top of your head, and when you're not wearing it, if you just want to flip the top off and then walk around, and then when you need to put it back on, you just flip it back up over, and there's no irritation, skin irritation, in ear pulling, any special apparatus that you need to hold the elastic away from your ears. It's just more comfortable. It's a few extra steps, but to me, for the comfort, it's worth it. Because honestly, I don't know how long it's going to be recommended that we wear these, and it just gives a choice to some people to have a tie as opposed to elastic. And so that's why I make mine this way. And since I'm just showing you how I make my mask, this is more kind of like a quick walkthrough, a kind of a peek inside my business. So I'm not going to be like doing a list of all the tools and things that you need, because if you have a sewing machine, you can do it. If you have needle and thread, you can do it just by watching the video. So I'm going to skip that part. I sell masks in a little store 2 or 3 towns over, and I got an order for 18 masks, and I'm going to show you how I make my tie-dyed mask. To start, I have a piece of 100% cotton bleached muslin material. It's about 6.5 foot long, 36 inches wide. This should easily make enough masks, and then I use a coordinating, sometimes not coordinating, but I use another scrap fabric for my ties. So I am going to open it up to the full width, and then I'm going to double it on itself end to end. That's how I'm going to work with this, so I'm not dyeing through several layers, just 2. Now this is a big piece, but it's okay because we're going to do a crinkle. This has been soaking in a soda ash water solution for at least 20 minutes, spun out in the washing machine until it's damp. Had a little bit of dye on my hands when I wrung it out before I threw it in the washer. We are going to crinkle this. We're just going to do just a crinkle. We've done crinkles before, and I'm just going to smooth it out a little bit. I don't know why. And to crinkle, it's just this, right? It's just scrunching it up. But what you don't want to do is ball it up. So we are going to just start to crinkle it, walk our fingers through it, and gather it up. I gotta make it tight because it has to fit in a resealable 1-gallon Ziploc bag because I recycle. And so let's just crinkle. Secure it with rubber bands. Let's see if that pack's tight enough. Ooh, it's tight. It wants to fold up. Gonna have to be careful with that. And will it fit? I think we can make it work. Let's put some dye on it. Gonna be using natural fiber reactive Procyon dyes, mixed to the manufacturer's specification, which is 2 teaspoons per 8 ounces of water. This store owner knows that her customers like purple and pinks. So when she orders masks from me to sell in her store, it's always purples and pinks. So today, following that, we're going to use hot pink, sweet pea, hydrangea, ultraviolet, and we're going to throw in a little bit of parakeet. When I do crinkles, I start with the lightest color and I finish with the darkest color. The lightest colors will go in first and hit the valleys. The darkest colors will come on last and hit the peaks, and it makes for a nice flow, a nice contrast, and a beautiful pattern. So I think I'm going to test my sweet pea because it's a purpley pinky. Yeah, that's my lightest in comparison. And it's also, the fabric is doubled, but because it's a, this cotton really soaks up, saturates very well. You can do patterns in crinkles. I am going for 100% random. To me, it's more beautiful. So I'm going to start with my lightest. I'm going to start with sweet pea. And I'm just going to go up here in this corner. Just random. And I'm using a goodly amount. Next, I'm going to do some hot pink beside it. I should probably mix it up a little bit better. I'm going to do some hot pink over here. Now we're going to do some hydrangea down here in the corner. I'm also going to just do a splattering of hydrangea across the rest of it. So this is one side. Let's flip it over. Let's see. Oh yeah, we have good saturation where it's coming through. And then on this side, I'm going to go back underneath the hydrangea with this parakeet, because if you can see, the hydrangea is made by mixing several dyes together, and it has a blue base, and you can see where it starts to bleed out in this blue. So this would be a really nice complement to that blue, that it's going to bleed out into the white portions if there's not full saturation. Yeah, they go great together. And just let it overlap. Doesn't matter. Going in there. And on this side, I'm going to kind of flip-flop between the sweet pea, and I'm going to put the sweet pea on top of the hot pink. I'm going to do some hot pink in this void area here. Let it overlap a little bit. Want some good saturation. Going to overlap with some hydrangea. Then, to really hit those peaks with a darker color, I'm going to swipe it with the ultraviolet. If I use a lot of ultraviolet, it's hard to rinse out. It's a dark color, so I use it as an accent as opposed to a primary color. So because these colors are all so bright, I want to accent all the peaks and let them shine up in the valleys. So I'm just going to put it on my hand like this. And I'm just going to wipe it across. And that's all I'm doing. Just to accent. And I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to do the same thing. On this side, I'm going to put it on my hand. I'm just going to wipe it across. Just accenting. That's all. Okay. Let's bag it. Okay. I'll see you in 24 hours. We ready? See how where we crinkled it and we just used the hot pink and then we put the ultraviolet in our hand and just wiped it across to see how it does, and it makes that pattern. A beautiful, beautiful pattern that doesn't overtake the piece. It just is a beautiful accent. Wow. That is gorgeous. Let's get this in the wash. Yeah! Yeah! So we soaked it in soda ash water solution for 20 minutes or more. We spun it out in the washing machine until it was damp. We crinkled it, we wrapped it in rubber bands, and we laid color down on it. We let it set for 24 hours. We rinsed it out. It's been washed and dried several times. And here's what we did. So we got loads of pinks and purples. And so you can see the dark purple. And that's all of the peaks. And then all of the pink is in the valleys because we put the ultraviolet on our hands and we just slid it across, right? So we made all of these beautiful little like splatter patterns in here. And so we've got all of our colors. We've got a splash of blue over here. I mean, it turned out beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So the next step is I have to iron this. And yes, I do. Because to get a true cut, do you see the edge? It's all folded on itself. So now we have to iron. I'm going to fold it in half lengthwise just to cut down on the amount of time. And I'm going to start ironing this tie-dyed fabric so we can cut it. Okay, there is our nice, crisp, tie-dyed fabric. Nice and crisp, easy to lay out, easy to put my lines on. The lines will be nice and true when I cut as opposed to jagged from cutting across wrinkles. It's just another step that I feel necessary before making these masks. Okay, need a good set of fabric scissors, a Sharpie. All right, I'm just gonna square this up real quick. Right, we're gonna lose that much. I don't worry about the marker being seen because of the seam allowance that I use. All right, now we're square. Work on that. Look, my hair. Oh no. have an order for 18 adult and 6 child. The adult size I cut at a 9x6 rectangle, and the child I cut at a 5x7. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to show you just the adult, and you can adjust the measurements for your own. So this is 18 inches folded in half, which is perfect, which means that I can get 2 9x6 at every 6 inches. So what I will do, so you can see, is I have this squared up. Let's see, there we go. We'll move it over just a touch. Okay. So I'm just going to make a line every 6 inches. And this is doubled on itself. So I have 2 sides when I cut. So I'm cutting front and back. Let me move this down. Then I'm going to put a dot right here at the 9, right there at the 9, right there at the 9, then two, 4, 6 masks already. So I'm going to continue marking my masks, and then I'm gonna cut them. Okay, this line here marks me at the 18 mark, and so here I'm going to make the 5x7 masks. Okay, now we cut out 18 adult and 6 child. We're not done yet. So here I've got this floral, I've got this stripe, and I fold it over on itself a couple of times, and I just cut big swatches of it because I need for the adult about 34 inches for one strap, and for the child about 28. So I just kind of mass cut by folding it and then just making one cut, and I make that cut 2 inches wide. Oh, boom, look at that. Okay, perfect. So I got 17 inches, and I'm going to cut to here. So I'll be cutting down here. We're going to do that right now. Okay, perfect. So now that's 17 inches. I'm gonna fold it up on itself one more time. I got a wrinkle here. Push that out. I can feel it. And then I'm gonna cut it on 2 inches straight up here. 1, 2. So right here. It's not an exact science. There's a lot more forgiveness in these than there is in the mask itself. That one's not gonna work, but what I do is I sew them together to make one. So we're just gonna cut that end off. We're gonna send that one over to the side to salvage. Let's check this one. Yeah, this is good. So this is folded in half. Okay, that's 36 inches. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. So I got a strip of 2-inch wide and 36 inches long. And I need 2 times 18. I need 36 of them. I just did math in my head. Yay! So I just showed you how I cut my my ties, and on my lamp I just have tons. I just cut tons and hang them here and use them as I go. And so here I have a 9 by 13 2 pieces of material that I cut, folded on itself, so I would have 2 sides. And this is what we do. I use about a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I'm going to sew down this side and this side. One side. I'm going to sew down the other side. Now I'm going to turn it inside out. Because it's dyed through both sides, there really is no right or wrong color-wise. There is fabric-wise, but I don't let it bother me. Now what I'm going to do, I used to press them, take an extra step and press everything so it laid nice and flat, but now I just run kind of like a decorative hem right down the edge here. And I use my foot as my guide. And I run it right here on the seam of that foot. And just keep it kind of tight. And it so I do that on both sides, and it makes like a just a decorative seam. And then I put 2 pleats, and it's just, I just eyeball them, just so they're even. And I use the weight of my scissor to hold this side down, and then I'll put a pin on this side, and then I'll just pinch it again, and I'll go the same direction as the last one, and I just kind of eyeball it. Let my scissors lay on this end, pin this side, now that's held together. I'm going to hold this together, and I'm going to just tack it into place. Doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to sew over it anyway. And then I'm going to do the same on this side. And I'm going to, where this is uneven, I'm going to cut that off. We're going to get rid of that. Okay. Shake off them. There is the gist of your mask right now. Okay, now we're going to put the ties on it. So I have 2 pieces of fabric, 2 inches wide, about 36 inches long. I'm going to take a minute. Perfect. I hit it. I'm going to fold it in half. And this is my center crease. I'm going to crease that with my fingers, just so I can see it. And now, I'm going to make a bias tape. So I'm going to fold the bottom halfway up. I'm going to fold the top halfway down. And hold it together with my fingers. And there's that crease, my middle crease. And I'm going to put that in the middle of my mask. Thereabouts. I'm going to fold this side over. And I'm going to pin it into place. Just to hold it. Just to hold it in place. And I'm going to do the same thing up here. This will almost, as you sew, fold itself once you get it started. So halfway up from the bottom, halfway down from the top. And I'm going to fold the bottom up to meet the top. And so it's a bias tape of sorts. Can you use bias tape? Yes, but it's expensive. So I just make my own. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a seam right down the edge on this fold. And I'm going to fold it as I go. You can fold this and iron it into place. It's another step you can do. It's time consuming, but if you've got the time, do it. Then I stop every so often and I fold the bottom to the middle, the top to the middle. And then I fold the ends together to make my bias tape. Just use my fingers and push it into place. When I get to where I need to fold again, I'll just stop with my needle down. See how easy that just was folded into place? And now I'm going to take the pin out. Sewed on that side, sewed on that side. And it's sewed together. And we'll repeat on the other side. And there you have it. Once I have everything cut out, I can put a mask together in about 5 minutes. So that's how I make a mask. We're done sewing the mask.
But we're still not done with the mask making process. Now they have to be washed and dried. I wash them and dry them again because this fabric is nice and soft from being washed 4 times. The strap fabric is still very stiff. Washing and drying it will soften it up, make it more supple and easy to tie.
Here we are. We are washed and dried in a tangled mess. And we're still not done. The final step is to iron the main portion of the mask, not the strings. What this does, washing and drying, it's not as crisp. And when I get it brand new, I want it to be crisp. And then after that, it doesn't have to be ironed. The pleats still work, everything still works. It's just that nice touch, that nice visual that comes with handmade. I want it to come to them pretty. So, also ironing gives me one last chance to inspect it, make sure that I've got all the strings cut off, make sure that my seams are all intact and I didn't like run off the edge and have a gap. It just lets me do a final, quality control on my product before it's delivered. So now we're gonna iron. So, here they are, ready to be packaged up and delivered to the store. Double checked everything, nice and crisp lines. There you have it. That's the process of making masks. This is one of the first ones that I ever made, and I've been wearing it regularly since April, and so you can see how wrinkled it gets when it's not ironed. Also, this is before I made bias tape, and so I just folded it over so it could still be two-sided, but because I didn't tuck it in, I get a lot of this. That's bothersome. And then the same, I left these edges raw as well, and so you get a lot of focus. Oh, if I put my glasses on, my eyes would focus. Ha! But you get less strings, and that can defeat the purpose of the mask because then you're touching your face, right? But I've gotten used to it. But also you can see, even without ironing it, when you put it on, it's still nice, right? So that's how I make my masks. If you liked these how-tos and the processes, please like and subscribe. I'll have a link in the description below to my Etsy store, and you can go to my store and you can see the other masks that I've made, plus the t-shirts that we have made are there as well. And this is how I do my small business. I just wanted you to see the steps that it takes to make a mask. So, remember, be peaceful, be kind, wash your hands, respect people's distance, don't touch your face, and stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon.